Hello friends and welcome to Top of the Stack MTG. So we finally have the Frontier Human deck ready to show. It's taken way too long. One of the reasons that it's taken so long is because, of course, within Frontier, there are so many humans to choose from. There's literally nearly 400 different cards to comb through and figure out what exactly you want to do. And I thought about so many different directions this could go in. Did I want to make some kind of prowess deck? Did I want some kind of Gideon deck now that there's the new rule about planeswalkers? So they're no longer using the planeswalker rule for you can only have one Gideon in play at a time. They've just made them legendary planeswalkers, which means as long as the Gideons have different names, you can put each one into play. So you can literally make a Gideon deck. Did I want to do that? Life gain deck of some sort. Some kind of human token deck with Oketra's Monument, perhaps. 5-color good stuff, right? I mean, we could do that. Just pick all the best humans we could possibly find and see what happens. Did I want it to be aggro or mid-range? I mean, so many choices. It was just crazy. So finally, I just decided I want it to be important that they are humans. Somehow, it has to be that because they're a human, they get some kind of a benefit. So that's what I focused on. And that sort of centers around a card called Heron's Grace Champion. It's an excellent card. It's got Flash and Lifelink, which is excellent for humans. When it enters the battlefield, other humans you control get +1/+1 and gain lifelink until the end of the turn. So that's great. If you've got a bunch of humans and you flash this into play, especially after they've already picked blockers, and then everybody gets a +1/+1, I mean, it's incredible. So this is a really great card. So it all kind of centers around this. So of course we're going to run 4 of those. So now I'm just going to start at the top of the deck. With Thraben Inspector. Thraben Inspector as a 1-drop is incredibly powerful. Any deck that runs white that's competitive runs a Thraben Inspector because you get card advantage. Straight up, you drop this guy into play, it's a 1/2. So already it defends all right for the beginning of the game. It's great against red aggro because they're going to try to swing in with a 1/1, you know. And you get the card advantage because it makes a token. So it's an excellent card. I did think about putting in Warden of the First Tree. This is also an excellent value card because you can use your mana later to make it more powerful. But I'm afraid the card gain just trumped it. I mean, I think Thraben's just better. So I thought about Warden of the First Tree, but Thraben Inspector really took it. So on to the 2-drop, Hamlet Captain. Hamlet Captain's great. Whenever Hamlet Captain attacks or blocks other humans you control, get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. Very nice. I love that it's attacks and blocks. So literally either way, as long as you're using a Hamlet Captain, everything's getting pluses, which is great. I thought about a couple other 2-drops to go into this slot that didn't quite make the cut. One is Dusk Watch Recruiter. Excellent card. Right? It gets you card advantage. We're not running because I had decided that it's important to me that I have cards that mess with other players, not just cards that fit the theme. It is possible when you're using Duskwatch Recruiter to not draw a human. That could happen. And that variance was a little bit hard for me to handle. Also the fact that if they don't cast a spell, it turns into a werewolf and then its power is gone. Granted, it has another power, which is all your creatures cost 1 less to cast, and that's good. That's a cool thing, but not as cool as the card advantage. So the card advantage will work like half the time. It was just getting too sketchy for me. So I decided to go with the Hamlet Captain. Also because Hamlet Captain, of course, fits right into what we're trying to do with this deck, which is to help humans. Another 2-drop that didn't quite make the cut is Glorybound Initiate. Great card. Great card. Just not, it doesn't quite do what we're looking to do. So Hamlet Captain it is. Thalia's Lieutenant, of course. Excellent card. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each human you control. And here's the neatest thing. It's not just that power. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. So they help each other out. Just excellent for a human deck. Great, great card. And then, of course, I put Thalia in also. Thalia, Heretic, Cathar. She's got first strike, creatures, and non-basic lands your opponent controls enter the battlefield tapped. Just excellent value. It really slows down other decks. A lot of decks will run this in their sideboard in case they're going against specific things. There's also another card that will make cards come in tapped. They'll run that one in their sideboard perhaps. But because this is a human, I put it right into the main deck. I think it will mess with pretty much anybody. It just slows you down. It is a legendary creature, so I'm only running 2 of them. There's another legendary creature, which we'll get to in just a second, which I'm also just running 2 of. But an excellent card. I'm glad it's there. 3-drop, another 3-drop. This is Tireless Tracker. Just here for value, of course. It's just amazing. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. Great card. I mean, the value, once again, any kind of a deck that's running green is going to put this in the deck if they want to be competitive. So, since there aren't literally 9 different cards that give humans pluses, I put in a couple cards for value, and this is definitely one of them. Just an excellent card. We already talked about Heron's Grace Champion, and then Sigarda, Heron's Grace. So this is not a human. Interesting. It's a legendary creature, so we're only running 2. This is the one I was talking about. She has flying, and you and humans you control have hexproof. So literally, all of your creatures gain hexproof, and you as the player gain hexproof, which is just excellent. They can't burn you out because you're immune to it. It's just wonderful. Spend 2. Exile a card from your graveyard. Put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token onto the battlefield. You can also make more humans. Excellent card. Excellent all the way around. Not a human, which is kind of strange, but it's just perfect for the deck. So we're going to run 2 of those. All right, so let's talk about the spells, the instances and sorceries. I'm running 4 Blossoming Defenses. Excellent card. It's kind of sneaky, right? It's an instant, so you can play it when you're defending. As long as you have a green mana available, you can just tap that, throw this down, and suddenly your guy's bigger than they thought it was. Could work as removal. You also gain hexproof. If they try to just say, get rid of your guy, you can just say, nope, this guy's hexproof. Excellent card all the way around. And Always Watching. So Always Watching doesn't specifically help humans. It's just all creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance. It's so good, and it doubles up with what other cards we've chosen do, that I just wanted to put it in there. The fact that it doesn't say humans doesn't bother me too much. So we were running 4 of those, of course, because they stack also. The vigilance can't stack, but if you have 3 of these in play, all your creatures get +3/+3. Just incredible. Incredible. And Cast Out. Cast Out, this is specifically one of those cards I was talking about that are in the deck to mess with your opponent. With Cast Out, you can get rid of a card that is a big problem for you. Actually, any permanent except a land, right? If they play Oketra's Monument, you can flash in a Cast Out and get rid of that monument. When Cast Out enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Cast Out leaves the battlefield. Just incredible. It'll get rid of anything that's causing you problems. And it has cycling. So if it's just stuck in your hand, you can get rid of it and try to draw something. All right, let's talk about lands. For me personally, I went with 4 Canopy Vistas, 4 fortified villages, 8 forests, and 8 plains. I didn't do any cycling lands because they come in tapped, and it bugs me. That slowing down for me is a problem. I like to play quickly. I don't want to waste a turn because I have to play a land that comes in tapped. Now, Canopy Vista and Fortified Village, of course, have a chance of coming in tapped, but we do need some kind of mana fixing. So I feel like this is worth it. Also, Canopy Vista counts as a forest or a plains, which really helps with the Fortified Village because you can reveal a forest or a plain and it won't come in tapped. So it's excellent. They work very well together. There are other choices. You could play the Heshep Oasis, which is a desert, if you want to get some deserts into the deck. Pay 3, tap it, sacrifice a desert. Target creature gets +3/+3 till the end of the turn. You could play that. I didn't choose any, but you could do it. Scattered Groves. It enters tapped, but it has cycling, which we already talked about. Sheffet Dunes. Sheffet Dunes. Pay 4, tap it, sacrifice a desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till the end of the turn. This would be another fine addition to the deck, except it's, I don't know. Consider it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. All right, let's talk about the sideboard. So we have got 4 Declarations in Stone. Great for getting rid of specific creatures. And it's neat because exile target creature and all other creatures in it, its controller controls with the same name. So it's an excellent way to just get rid of maybe 2 or 3 creatures. Wonderful. Root out, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Now, we've already got Cast Out, but this is just in case somebody's playing a lot of enchantments or artifacts. Because Cast Out and this can work together to get rid of all of it, which is great. Stasis Snare, just more removal. You know, you can sideboard this stuff in and just mess with your opponent all day. And then also 3 Crook of Condemnation, which is great for getting rid of cards that have been discarded. All right, so finally, that's the Humans deck. One crazy thing about this deck is it is not Frontier. It's Standard. It's kind of strange. All of the best humans that I came across were from... Mostly, it was from Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. Those 2 sets were great for humans. Of course, within a month, most of this entire deck is going to rotate, and then it will be just Frontier. But for right now, oddly enough, it worked out that this deck is Standard legal for 1 month. Very strange. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a great night, and if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little bell if you want to get notifications. Thanks so much.